So it's Friday evening, and after doing some errands after work, we were able to hop on and play a few matches in Master Duel Season 21, continuing where we left off. We were on a 5-win streak in Master 5, and we're now on a 9-win streak, winning our last 4 matches. So you can see here we are, just doing a decent job so far with Floowandereeze. Can we win our final match, our rank up game? Probably not, but let's see. So in this matchup here, we are going first, and our opening hand is technically bricked up, so we have to hope to unbrick with the unexplored winds. The opponent opts not to negate this if they have a negate, and we do draw an Advent of Adventure, and again, we're really under it here. Any negate and it shuts down our turn. Thankfully though, the opponent does not have Ash or Imperm, and we're able to get a combo going here. So Robina into Eaglin into the Empin, and the Empin will go ahead and grab Trap Card and allow us to summon the Fossil Diner to the field. So we get a pretty good turn 1 setup against the opponent here, stopping their special summons, and we have multiple summons during the opponent's turn. Sorry, we grab Map off of Empin, and then because we have Toucan in hand, use Map to reveal Toucan and banish Trap, summon the Toucan, and grab back the Map. So we're pretty safe here from pretty much anything. The opponent reveals that they are on Mikanko, which is interesting because Mikanko can't do anything against us because they can't special summon, which is all they do. So they just end up scooping it up because the Fossil Diner completely locks them out. In this matchup here, we are going second, and our opening hand is actually pretty good, assuming that we can play. It would have been good to go first. The opponent is going to Shifter right away in the main phase, which is interesting, and I'm like, are they on Floowandereeze? But the Pot of Prosperity reveals that they are on Kashtira, and so off the reveals, they go ahead and they grab Maxi, and I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. You know that it's dead during my turn since you're under Shifter, right? But it's inconsequential because obviously we're on Floowandereeze, so it's just kind of funny how these things sometimes work out. They set 1 and pass, and again, we have the ability to play here. So off the Jack in the hand, the opponent does take the Robina, and we grab the Eaglin there, and then we're going to go ahead and activate Duality. So we've got Book of Eclipse, we've got Advent of Adventure, so we've got ways to play around pretty much all the interruptions the opponent might have. Off the Eaglin, they do attempt to Imperm, we grab Map off the Advent to dodge that Imperm, and then continue summoning with the Robina, grabbing back the Eaglin, so we're chain blocked on this one as well. And then we're going to just activate Map effect, reveal the Toucan, banish the Stree, and then the Toucan can grab back the Advent of Adventure since we banished, or it got banished under Shifter. Now I make a huge misplay for some reason, thinking I was in main phase 2, and then you're gonna see what happens here. It's so stupid. We set 3, and then I'm like, oh, I still have my battle phase. I go battle phase, and I'm like, there's no way he has evenly matched, and he had evenly matched. So yep, that happens. But the opponent is only on 2 cards, and we know that they have our Robina in hand. And you might be thinking, Quantum, you just lost this game, didn't you? No, not necessarily, because again, we have our full engine rolling, and despite losing everything, which again, Konami, one of the reasons why Floowandereeze should probably have its power level lifted a bit, it's not really a huge threat, given that you have Purrely in the game and Kashtira coming. Like what happens when we get evenly matched? Look at this, it's such an uphill battle. Thankfully though, we're able to stop the opponent a little bit. Their Triple Tactics talent does get them to draw the 2 cards that they put into the graveyard, but we know they have Maxi, Shifter, and the Ascendant of Thunder in hand now, and they only have 2300 life points. So the Maxi is dead, the Shifter is useless, and the Ascendant of Thunder can't be used essentially. So we know that we basically have full control of this match, despite getting evenly pretty badly there. But yeah, what we're going to be able to do is once again stack the opponent's deck with the Ryza. I think they just used the Maxi because they were tired of it popping up on their field. But yeah, you can see here that we're in total control of the match, and it doesn't even matter because we're going to go for game right here. So despite that massive misplay, it's very important to pay attention to your phases and not play into an evenly match like I just did. We're still able to come back and take that win. Alright, in this next matchup here, we do win the coin toss and opt to go first. Our hand is pretty good, but we do have to unbrick with a bird. We're going to start with a Jack in the hand in order to do so, revealing the Toucan, the Eaglin, and the Robina. The opponent opts to take the Eaglin there, so we take Robina. Makes our life really easy. Off of the Pot of Duality, we do reveal the Fossil Diner, so we're going to grab that. Now, this hand may look amazing to play through any disruption, but because we don't have the second small bird, we actually can't play through an Ash Blossom. But we did Ash check the opponent twice with the Jack in the hand and the Pot of Duality, so hopefully we're in okay shape. We can dodge an Imperm, that's not a problem, but thankfully they don't have any interruptions. So the Robina grabs the Eaglin, which grabs the Empin. Empin is going to go ahead and grab the Trap card because we don't have the second small bird, so we can't do the play where we grab Map and then use Map to reveal the Toucan and banish Trap. But that's fine because we can kind of play around it a little bit by bringing back both the birds from the banished pile and then using the Advent of Adventure to then banish a bird and then grab Map after the fact. Activate Map, and now we have Map interruption, the Dreaming Town and the Empen with the Fossil Dyna. The opponent draws, attempts to go battle phase, and we're going to go ahead and normal summon Eagle, grab back Robina, and then normal summon Robina as well. I learned something in this situation where if you only have the one small bird getting the second small bird in rotation, you probably actually want to bring back the Robina and keep the Robina in hand. Because if you run into a situation like this where the opponent draws Ash for turn, now you have no small birds and you're stuck here basically, right? You have to hope to tribute summon in order to get these birds back, but we know that the opponent is going to evenly, and sure enough they do. Under the evenly, we lose everything. Now the small birds do get banished face up, but we do lose our Empen and our 1-of map, which is terrible, right? We do have trap cards still that we can recycle, but we opt to keep the Fossil Dyna because basically this is the floodgate that is keeping us in the game. If we allow the opponent to special summon, they're likely getting rid of this Fossil Dyna. At least though, they can't beat over it now because they've used their battle phase. So let's see what the opponent can extend with. They're going to go ahead and use Foolish Burial, and they put a really interesting card in the graveyard, the Ret Time Reviver Emit Tear. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but this card says if this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on each field, change them to face-down defense position, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. Unfortunately, they can't even use this effect to target my Fossil Dyna and flip it face down because it requires being special summoned, which the Fossil Dyna is shutting off. So the Fossil Dyna is shutting off this card that would normally out it, but it can't. And so they clearly have no normal summon here, and they just pass turn on nothing basically here, right? And we know they have Robina in hand as well. We're going to go ahead and activate the Unexplored Winds though, putting back both the big birds and drawing 2. We do draw into another Fossil Dyna, so this is just extended protection because if they normal summon and are able to beat over 1, we're going to be able to buy ourselves another turn with the second one on field. We're going to draw for turn, and we're also going to be able to Extravagance as well, right? So we're not looking too bad despite getting even lead and losing a critical part of our board and our engine there. And we do set the Book of Eclipse, which we don't want to use because flipping these face down would enable the special summons. The opponent draws, realizes that they can't do anything. They were on like the Punk Chaos deck, like the massive Punk pile, and so all those Punk cards are very low attack, so the normal summons aren't going to beat over the Fossil Dyna, and then they can't use any of the special summons to extend with or go into their extra deck, so understandable that they scoop it up. So in this next matchup here, I think this was my 4th win in a row. And we have a decent hand, but the double tribute monsters definitely hurts. We just need to unbrick with the pot cards, and we're likely going to be able to do so. Off this Prosperity, we do reveal the Advent, which is what we need. It would have been really nice to grab the Fossil Dyna here, because if I get full rotation ending on Empen off of the end the Fossil Dyna, it is usually a pretty strong lock. But we can't take the risk that we don't get something with the Duality, so we have to forego the Fossil Dyna and grab the Advent. The Duality, if it reveals any Robina or another Advent, we would be fine, but we can't take that risk. So unfortunately, it does reveal the other Advent, but we're going to go ahead and grab the Book of Eclipse at this point to play around an Imperm, because we're pretty sure the opponent doesn't have Ash, given that we resolved 2 pots. So the Advent grabs map is going to activate now, reveal the Toucan, and banish the, I think that was a Robina there. Yeah, of course it was Robina. We're going to go ahead and grab back Robina and grab the Empen back to hand that we banished off the Advent of Adventure with the Toucan. So Robina goes ahead and grabs the Eaglin, which we won't use this turn. We're just going to grab the Empen to field and grab Trap card, and then we're probably going to set 2 and pass. Yep. So again, not the strongest turn, but at least we were able to set up Empen and Trap card. The opponent reveals that they're on Heroes, grabs Stratos, and I don't think they searched anything off of that Stratos, which is like crazy. Anyways, they're going to special summon the Ferris, and then Ferris effect, we're going to chain the Dreaming Town, and the opponent just scoops, so made life easy. Maybe their hand wasn't the greatest, so yeah, they just end up surrendering there. So I have a bit of a conspiracy theory. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you spend money on this game and or play the newest deck, Konami will reward you by giving you favorable matchups where they brick your opponents and give you a really good opening hand. No, I'm just kidding. That's just how I felt in this match, because as you can see here, our hand is bricked and we have no way to extend right now, having drawn double tribute monsters, which is really unfortunate. At least we do have Shifter against Purrely, so you can see here that we were able to get the first 2 spells banished. But Purrely can still play around this, especially with the regular Purrely. Obviously, Purrely can't attach anything from the graveyard if they're under Shifter. Nothing is in the graveyard or goes to graveyard. But they can attach from hand and upgrade, and then once they upgrade, any spells that they play can be attached, so it plays around the Shifter, which is basically the way they have to play essentially at this point. It does slow them down a little bit, but it's definitely not like an FTK. It can be very devastating, so as you can see here, this is the 3rd spell that's banished, and at least off of this, the Plump can't attach materials because there is no spells and traps in the graveyards to attach. They are going to go for the Purrely and grab the Yeep, and then attach the final thing to the Plump. Unfortunately, if we had one interruption to play, we could have prevented the attaching of the material to the Plump and prevented them from getting the 5 material Noir, but the Noir still has bounces on it, right, which is a hassle to deal with. Unfortunately though, we remain bricked up. The opponent is going to upgrade to Noir during the draw phase, and we have double Eaglin in hand. So we're going to normal summon Eaglin. The opponent actually thought here for like 30 seconds if they wanted to spin this, and I'm like, please do. That would be nice because it gets banished when it leaves the field, not back to the deck, which means I can recur it with the second Eaglin. However, I'm still bricked up, so no matter what I do, it's pointless. We're going to go battle phase and beat over the Purrely, which gets banished, and we pass our turn. Unfortunately, the opponent is going to draw and then get a free resource with my friend Purrely. Like, Konami, this deck is so consistent and so broken. I don't understand how you let this get released at full power, but you nerf other decks like Branded and Floowandereeze and stuff like that, which are not nearly as strong as this deck is, and I think everybody in the community agrees. Anyways, and it's going to be the same with Kashtira, guys, when it releases. They just want you to buy the newest thing because it's power crept, which is why I'm kind of turned off from this game a little bit. Anyways, they're going to Delicious Memory my Eaglin, which means that it can't be destroyed by battle this turn. So if they go into the Happiness, which I guess they have to top deck now off of the Purrely, they're going to be able to OTK, essentially, and they do end up discarding a Shadal card. Not the engine I would play, but hey, if it works for them, more power to them. They grab Squamata, and they can normal summon that if they wanted to, but the Purrely here misses. Really weird way to play this deck, but hey, again, more power to them if it works. They switched to Noir to attack mode, and they opt to detach 2 materials to remove the Eaglin, which I'm like, why would you do that? You know, in my opinion, that's a misplay. So your Noir is now affected by card effects, activated effects. You could have attacked twice into this Eaglin because you have a Happy Memory attached. So again, people are playing this deck, and just the sheer power level of the deck is carrying them to victory, and the fact that I'm bricked, obviously, but they don't even know how to like really play the deck properly, in my opinion. And like, again, just the power level of the deck is just carrying them to victory, which is crazy. But now this card gets removed from play, it doesn't get spun back to the deck, and instead of getting the extra attacks off, you're just gonna attack me directly. Now normally this would be a good thing, but I actually would want to have kept this Eaglin on board and have it not be destroyed by battle, because if I was able to normal summon my second Eaglin and they don't spin back either one, which they shouldn't because they want to keep this unaffected, then I would actually be able to tribute over and grab the Empin. And if they're smart, then they would spin back during my turn. But spinning back here doesn't make any sense. But we could have potentially played around it that way. But again, in the end, it works out for the opponent, so can't really talk trash, not trying to by any means. And it, in the end, they ended up going into a Zeus, which again is questionable. I think you would want to keep the unaffected Noir, knowing, like, with the knowledge that I'm on Floowandereeze, I don't play Kaijus and stuff like that, obviously. So, and even if I did, Kaijuing over your Zeus would be just as devastating here. So we're going to normal summon Eaglin because we're still bricked up, drawing yet another tribute monster in the second shifter. So, it happens, I guess. And we're going to grab, look, our hand is nothing but tribute monsters, which is crazy. On the second Eaglin summon, the opponent Zeus's, and I'm like, sure, they're going to get Squamata effect, dump the beast, and draw 1. And at this point, I'm like, if they have any extension, if they draw any Purrely spell, I lose. So yeah, I just need to see it, and sure enough, they do have it, and they grab the Purrely, and Purrely grabs Happy, and then from there, it's just OTK City. So what's the point in staying? We end up scooping it up. So bricked up, potentially could have come back due to the opponent's misplays, but because we remained bricked, nothing we can do, and we take an L on that one on the rank up game. You can see why Yu-Gi-Oh players are a special breed, right? This game just naturally brings out the salt from you, I think, just because you like, this is a misplay, I can't believe I'm losing to this, I'm getting high rolled, and it's totally understandable, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm the same way to a certain degree. You just gotta remember that this is just a game in the end, and it's not worth getting heated or frustrated over, even though, you do get frustrated. Anyways, in this matchup here, after we lost the rank up game, we're going first, and our hand is absolutely insane. So just like we complained last game, now we can, breathe easy because the game gave us the busted nuts. The opponent starts off with an Imperm on the Empin. So I wondered if they drew that for turn or if they were saving it. My guess is they were saving it and they had it the whole time. They just toggled off. They discard the Bestial Lubellion, and we could have called by that, but we don't really care about Bestials because we know that the opponent has to banish this in order to summon the Bestial because we're holding our shifter. So the opponent does indeed banish their Lubellion, but it's for a black dragon, so they're on Dragon Link clearly. And then we're going to chain the shifter to the activation of the Dreaming Town, which is a misplay. I was thinking this through for a little bit, and then like when I actually went to execute the game plan, I'm like, oh, I thought too far ahead, and I forgot that I'm not supposed to shifter right now, because what I'm supposed to do is activate Dreaming Town, let it go to graveyard, and then on the tribute summon, then banish the Dreaming Town so that my graveyard is open again. Then I can shifter, but that way I get the utility off of the Dreaming Town banished from grave. The only way that this play makes sense in shiftering here is if the opponent has an Ash Blossom. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense, because if they have an Ash Blossom, yeah, I messed up here because I have the call by. So yeah, I didn't think, when I was actually executing this, I thought it through, and then I executed it the wrong way. So huge misplay on my part, because if they have Ash, I'm now in trouble. But for some reason, the opponent is chaining all of their cards here, and this just means that I can flip them all face down if I would have kept the Dreaming Town, right? But these are all special summon monsters. They're going to get their Bestial Search during the end phase, which is fine. We're going to grab back the Eaglin, and we can get Ashed on the Eaglin summon here, right? This is the problem. If they have Ash here, because we're under Shifter now, the Call by the Grave doesn't work. So what I should have done here, I know I'm harping on this point because it is very important to know this interaction. If I don't Shifter there, if they did have Ash, I can Call by the Ash, right? And then on the chain of the Call by before it goes to graveyard, I can't chain Shifter because the Dreaming Town would be in graveyard still. I wouldn't be able to banish it. So I would lose the utility of my Shifter. Thinking this through now. We're looking at the replay again. I would have to decide, do I want to put them under Shifter and forego the flip down effect of the Dreaming Town and potentially negating an Ash? Or do I want to try to keep the Shifter in hand, have the ability to play through an Ash with the call by, and have the ability to flip their field face down? I think not playing the Shifter would have been the better play. But you know, you can make that decision as well when you're in these situations, or you know, judge this match how you will. And then we're gonna go for the Snarl here, because now that we lost the utility off of the Dreaming Town, we are going to use the Snarl to flip the opponent's field face down. So leaving them on 2 cards, they set 1 because obviously they don't want to lose whatever this is, and they're gonna go ahead and activate the Allure. They draw 1 Dark Monster and then just pass on nothing. They get another Lubellion during the end phase off the Magnamut, and now we're in really good shape. We draw Extravagance, which is fantastic. So again, you know, just drawing the busted nuts, everything at once. You know, it goes both ways, I guess. Sometimes you just brick up and sometimes you draw the busted nuts. There's really hardly any in between, it seems. Anyways, the opponent, once they see that we kind of got like, yeah, full combo, they just end up scooping it up there. And now we are back up on our rank up game. So for this one, we actually lost the coin toss, but the opponent opted for us to go first, which makes me think Mikanko right away. We're going to start with a Pot of Extravagance. Really good hand. We just need 1 small bird, or any bird really. Yeah, and we draw the Empen there, and it's sad that we have to take Empen over map, but that's fine. We're gonna Gold Sark away an Eaglin or a Robina. Which one? Robina here. Okay, that means we're gonna Advent for the Eaglin, because we'd rather have the Eaglin being chain blocked, but we do need the Robina to resolve the Search Toucan in order to get back this Empen here, right? We can play through an Ash, but we cannot play through an Imperm. And it's pretty clear the opponent doesn't have Ash, otherwise they likely would have Ashed one of these. So I am fearing the Imperm here. We're going to go ahead and activate Unexplored Winds, and then summon the Eaglin. And thankfully, the opponent does not Ash Blossom, or Imperm the Eaglin, or the Robina, or the Toucan. So we're able to get everything in rotation here. Double Tribute and grab the Empen to board. Get Eaglin back to hand and grab Dreaming Town, set the Dreaming Town, and pass. Now, I was assuming the opponent was on Labyrinth, so I was wondering, like, did they toggle off? Did they not have any furniture? What's going on? And that's why I activated Unexplored Winds, because they would not want to use furniture, because I would just tribute over it. But during the end phase, they could definitely activate furniture here. That's why I kept the Call by the Grave in the hand, because I'm like, if they do activate a furniture, discard a card, I can call by the furniture piece and negate, putting them on -2 and preventing the getting of the big welcome. So trying to read the opponent based on their sleeves here, which was wrong, and I forgot kind of mid-match that, oh yeah, if they were Labyrinth, obviously they would have gone first. They're on Mikanko. But then I'm like, oh no, they're on Dogmatica. This is insane. They send the Entis, and there's nothing I can really do with this here, so I have to let them pop a card, and they're going to pop the Unexplored Winds, and that's fine. They're going to summon the Maximus, and I believe when I was reading this card, I'm like, during the main phase, you can activate this effect. Send 2 monsters with different names from your extra deck to the graveyard. So they just send another Entis. Entis's pop effect in the graveyard is not once per turn. They'll just pop another card on my field. So I'm like, okay, I have to stop this summon. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Dreaming Town. And you could argue, should I have Dreaming Town before they could summon it by putting back the Entis into the extra deck, but I don't want to give them that extra resource again. So now I'm thinking they're on Dogmatica and not like Numeron or Mikanko here. So we're just going to use the Eaglin to search Monarch here, and we're not even going to summon the Robina in case the opponent drew Ash for turn and we would get Ashed. So we're just going to straight up summon the Monarch by tributing off the Toucan that was already on field and the Eaglin that we summoned. And then we're going to bounce back the Maximus before it can use its effect to send another Entis to the graveyard and pop another card on our field. We banish the Dreaming Town to flip it face down as well, and we put a Pot of Duality back on top of our deck. The opponent, I guess, is on Mikanko, because I think that's the only deck that really plays the Hidden Armory. They obviously mill the card we put back on top in the Maximus here, and they grab the Aberrask. But I don't think there's anything they can do. Yeah, because they have to have a Kaiju, which they do. But then when they use the Aberrask and then they get a Mikanko to field, it's going to bounce the Kaiju back. And then, yeah, they get some extension, but they can't actually OTK me. And so because of that, they just end up scooping. We did have the evenly matched anyways. So we were winning that match no matter what. And that we were able to hit Master Rank 3.